Hey kids, this is Aaron from the podcast That Wouldn't Die, and Kevin and I use Zencastr. You think you're better than us, that you're using something else? You're wrong. Zencastr's the place to be. Who are you to deny it?
It's now super easy to record a podcast with Zencastr. Log in using your browser and start recording a high-quality podcast right away. Record studio-quality sound and up to 4K video with your guests. Feel a sense of zen knowing Zencastr's multi-layered backups ensure you always have your recordings in the highest quality, even if the connection is unstable. If you thought about podcasting before and realized that you need a lot of different tools and services, those days are over. With Zencastr's all-in-one podcasting platform, you can create your podcast all in one place and distribute to Spotify, Apple, and other major destinations. Go to zencastr.com/pricing and use our code DIEHARD and you'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencastr paid plan. We want you to have the same experiences we do for all our podcasting and content needs. It's time for you to share your story.
Only a fool will give up a chance for a 30% discount.
Welcome to our Talk Time. I am Jordino. This is an audio talk show where I talk about the most recent events, internet culture, and some topics that I just find interesting. Think of this show like the late night of podcasting. I make some jokes, play some games, interact with listeners, and dive deep into a variety of topics. In the second half of the show, I bring on a guest, usually my friends, and we have a casual conversation. Find this beautiful show wherever you find your podcasts. New episodes of Jordino's Talk Time every Wednesday at 12:30 a.m. BST. You heard that correctly. It's Jordino's Talk Time. See you later.
Death Spa. Welcome to the health club where you'll sweat blood.
Never work without a spotter, Freddie. Weight falls on your chest and you can really get squashed.
It's the place for a killer workout.
Welcome to the latest episode of the podcast That Wouldn't Die. I'm your host, Kevin. With me as always is Aaron.
Well, how do, friend?
Jesus, what was that? Good Lord, deep in the microphone. This week, we're discussing the horror classic, Death Spa, starring a variety of vaguely recognizable actors.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. Each week on the podcast, we discuss guilty pleasures and forgotten classics of the horror and sci-fi genre with a comedic twist. Aaron, how you doing?
Dude, we need to share with the audience that we were discussing the Irish goodbye and what it means. And I know this is podcast land, but we both are ancestrally somewhat Irish.
Vaguely, right.
And I am the master of the Irish goodbye, just because I have most of my friends here are from south of the border. So if you try to get out of a party early, you get a lot of yada yada. What? Huh? It's so early. Right. I'm like, it's fucking 1 o'clock. Huh? So I have learned you keep your purse by the back door. You have a drink. You kind of get up in the middle of the party. People think you've gone to the bathroom. And before you even get a text, you're already snuggle-buggly in bed. What?
That is the secret.
Come to expect it.
No, we were talking about it because we're like, I always thought it meant like, well, the Irish are very melancholy, get a couple beers in us. We're like, oh, one lone tear. I'm just leaving through the back door. Don't ask me no questions.
Like the sad Native American man looking at all the garbage on the side of the road.
Iron Eye Cody, 100%. But then I Googled it, and to me it said something like, we are stone cold alcoholics. And therefore, if we say goodbye, people will take our car keys and make us get a cab or go for a walk or something along those lines. But you found something even more sinister. What was it?
Just that it has to do, as with all things. Back in the old days, it wasn't
Yes.
cool to be Irish. So
Shocking.
basically, my Google thing ended up being, it plays into the stereotype that Irish are just drunks.
Right.
And it's just another nasty British rumor about us and whatever white Protestant East Coasters haters. Irish need not apply, yada yada yada. But I think we've taken it over.
Yes, we own it now.
We own it now. We've taken it back. But during my Google, it's what is the French exit and what is an Irish goodbye? Apparently the French also, which I have never heard.
I'd never heard
Pardon
that in my
me
life.
while I make a French exit.
Au revoir.
Au revoir, mon ami.
Well,
And then, what is the Midwest goodbye? Apparently, that's like the Italian goodbye, where you're in your front yard, still, one more story. Bye, bye, bye. Oh, wait a second. Bye, bye.
It
20
never
minutes
ends.
later, and it never ends.
It's a sad, sad situation. Well, I mean, you know what it is. It's like there's certain idioms, terms of a phrase that we don't know what it means. We just use it,
Right.
and they have sinister meanings underneath it all. So
Do you
there
use
go.
the word folks? What are you folks doing?
Sometimes.
How are your folks?
Why is that bad?
I think I read somewhere that it was supposed to have some kind of sinister thing, but I still use it.
Really?
Quite frankly, I'm sure the young people are not using the word folks.
I mean, I might use it in like, how are your folks kind of thing? How are your parents doing? Kind of thing like that. No, not so much.
Apparently, I'm going to test it out next time. But how are your folks? What are you folks doing?
I don't think I ever use it like that. I don't ever use it like that.
Stop your shenanigans, Kevin. I've had enough of your hijinks.
That's true.
And miscreant. You're a miscreant.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Aaron, give us your 30-second synopsis on Death Spa.
Oh my God, Jesus fucking Christ. Death Spa. Well, as the name implies, there are some deaths at a spa. What kind of a spa? One with no equipment and a conversation pit and a steam room. And a boiler room the size of an NFL stadium. Anyway, I guess the story is that a dead wife is really evil and lives inside the computer and took over the soul of her twin brother to make sure that her widow husband stays pure, knock out any competition, and suggest that he, kill himself and join her in the Matrix. Is that our understanding? What the It is one step away from a porno, and it is the video quality and acting quality only can compare from a 1980 soap opera, which also had demon possession.
Had you ever even heard of this movie before?
Oh, no. This was never played at a theater. You can't tell me this ever.
This was a theater movie. 100%. Yes.
That's a lie.
100%.
It's one of those things where it played for 2 weeks somewhere in Los Angeles so they can get Academy accreditation.
That's what they were going for. 100%.
They cut 5 minutes out and added 5 minutes, it would have been just straight to porn.
It's funny because I don't remember seeing commercials for this or anything like that.
Oh, Lord, no.
What I remember, though, is I'd be at, the Blockbuster or the warehouse, and I would see the box for Death Spa occasionally.
Oh, when I was spinning around ye old Tubi, you know what was right next to Death Spa?
What?
Death Toilet.
That's our next movie, I think.
That is not, I can only imagine. It's better quality than Death Spa. Oh my God. But the costumes are to die for. I love back when we had fashion where you would wear all kinds of unnecessary clothing tied around your neck, tied around your waist. There's people doing jazzercise with at least 2 different coordinating color sweatshirts tied around their waist while they're sweating like pigs.
100%.
They are still busting out their satin stretch pants You can go from
Lycra.
the discotheque right to the gym. And
What?
who thought like rigid belts would be a great thing to wear with your leotard?
Right. Big, thick, plastic belt around your waist. Absolutely. You
It
gotta
looked
do it.
like those late night, like, do you remember there'd be those exercise shows on TV? Not Jack LaLanne. These were more for like adult women to work out with and just weird men who are not working to just. There's a lot of butt close-ups and a lot of
Yes.
squats.
100%.
Yeah.
That's
This is what
they're
that
going for.
reminded me of.
Well, there's a lot to talk about and unpack
There's
this.
literally 3 pieces of equipment in this gym, and it's the hottest place in town.
Number one, the 80s is when the whole gym thing started to occur, where people were all like, hey, I'm going to start working out. Before that, normal people did not work out, but they didn't call these places gyms. They called them health spas because you could go in there, work out, hit the tanning bed, maybe get a facial or a manicure. They were doing the full deal. Okay.
Oh my God. It was like bad industrial carpet with like a wrinkle down the middle. I mean, come on. They use that to shoot porn. This is like a set that multiple companies use.
You may not be wrong, as far as I know. But this, and in terms of fashion, we talked about this before as well. To get to that really good 80s fashion, you know what I mean? You really have to get closer to about 85, 86. Early 80s is still kind of your feathered, 70s
Still the
look.
70s. It's
Right.
not like the year changes, you blink an eye, and suddenly you have all new fashion. Now we're deep. A lot of primary colors,
Yep.
a lot of teal. There is one dude wearing like a rainbow jacket at the gym.
Oh, yeah.
It was like the Technicolor dream coat.
He was Joseph, no question, 100%. I'd been meaning to do this. For a while.
Meaning to do this.
I have, because it just seems so ridiculous. They actually had this on Joe Bob earlier this year, and it kind of rekindled my interest because just from the box, it looks freaking nuts. It looks nuts.
Of course, because it is nuts.
I mean, and we can, like I said, we can go through the cast list, and we will. And there are like real actors in this, not like
Rosalind Cash. She's the only real actor I saw.
She's been in.
Oh no, the dude from Square Pegs and Star Trek.
100%.
Dude,
Yeah.
I was sitting there. I was like, "Is that the dude from Star Trek?"
It is.
Oh,
and
he died in '89. He died like just a couple years.
Couple years after this. It's the sister from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is in this as well. And like one of her first things.
Man.
It's literally an all-star cast, but not really.
But not really.
But not really.
An all-star TV cast.
100%.
Except for Square Pegs.
Who was also a TV star, for goodness sake.
Square Pegs.
Square Pegs was basically
his first role in Star Trek. I remember looking. I'm like, is he like a Valley dude, but in space? His first entry to Star Trek. I can't believe there was a second.
He did Wrath of Khan. That was his first thing as James T. Kirk's bastard son that he didn't know he had.
Who's wearing like a Buffy sweater tied around his neck, and he was still talking in his Valley dude accent.
Absolutely.
In Star Trek.
And he was Johnny Slash in Square Pegs with Sarah Jessica Parker and Jamie Gertz, and
that was the best.
It was a thing.
For you younger folks, what is the later version of that?
Saved by the Bell, or
it's not fucking Saved by the Bell. The good one, Judd Apatow.
I don't know. You're talking about Freaks and Geeks.
Freaks and Geeks.
Freaks and Geeks.
It's an 80s Freaks and Geeks, because Freaks and Geek was the 90s, right?
Freaks and Geeks was like late 90s.
Yeah.
Yep.
So this is the decade before.
This is early 80s. But I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I only really remember Square Pegs on like Saturday morning thereabouts. That's the only time I remember being
not a Saturday morning TV show.
Not morning, but like after the cartoons.
No, it was an evening program.
I totally don't remember it being on in the evening, but I'm
Maybe
much
you
younger
watched-
than you.
Yes, so
I'm
you
much
may have seen
younger.
it in Syndicate.
That's-
But like Freaks and Geeks, that only had one season. I think Square
Right.
Pegs had like 2.
It was doing all right. It was on for a couple of years, yeah. Anywho, why don't we jump right into the highlights? What you got, Aaron?
Oh my God! Well, I talked about the soap opera quality of acting, and then he's having these weird dreams of a fiery desert. It's like the dreams that they were having in Raising Arizona.
Yes.
Of the horsemen in flames, but not as good.
Well, okay, we have to say this. It is revealed through, I guess, just character exposition dumps from time to time, is that the guy who owns the health spa, Starbody Health Spa, a year or so ago, his wife got pregnant, lost the baby, and somehow became paralyzed, which turned her into a raving psychopath, and she burns herself to death.
I thought she was paralyzed.
She was paralyzed because of losing the child. So I don't know what happened. The doctor had an accident with the forceps.
So
I
did
don't know
she
what
get
happened.
Uber Eats to bring the gasoline over?
Well, but she was standing on a hill in her wheelchair. I don't know how she got up there. And douses herself in gasoline and lights herself on fire.
That is not how Miss Doherty is going to go.
No.
That is no.
And so now, a year later, I guess she's kind of haunting the health spa because her husband, presumably not at the time, but is now dating somebody else. But at the same time, every chick at the health spa is chasing him. Is down to get. He's got to have it.
Like he's Mr. Foxy.
Yes.
Don't hassle the Hoff. That's what
it.
he's rocking. He has the curls.
Well, at one point, he's walking around, no shirt, leather jacket.
That just seems so sweaty.
It's sweaty and stinky. I don't think that was acceptable even in the 80s, if we're being honest. You can't be shirtless, leather jacket.
Who knows with men's fashion? It's all mysterious. I saw more of the fishnet men's shirts going on. Maybe if you layer that with your sweaty leather.
You did see that. And as you know, now I was actually going to the gym in the mid 90s. I was going to Gold's
Not
Gym.
a health spa.
They didn't call health spas by then. But you definitely saw what you see in this movie where it's like, yes, I go to the gym to work out, but really I'm here to meet people.
Right.
I'm going to be in full
the social thing.
Well, yeah.
To meet girls.
The girls, you'd have kind of these divorcees with full makeup, skin tight leotards, and the whole McGill. And that's kind of what's happening here.
Right.
There's this one chick whose name I can't remember, Marcy. One of them, they introduce her and she's constantly like trying to hit on people. Like she goes up to one dude and she's like, "Hey, how many reps can you do?" And he's like, he says something like, "Oh, it depends if I'm showing off." He's like, "Will you show off for me?" And his response is, "I'm Betamax and you're VHS."
Yeah, I wrote that down. So he's obsolete.
No, but I mean, is he saying I'm gay and you're straight? Is that what he was trying to say?
That's what I thought.
Okay. She's like, okay, moving on down the road.
Either that, or I don't know. There was a time, Beta is actually a better product.
Right. That's what they use in the industry today. Is Betamax. Well, maybe not
Lord,
today.
Who knows? Yeah, right now. That's state of the art.
Maybe not anymore.
We're going to go out and get like an $800 Betamax.
Right.
So who knows? It could go either way. Like, I'm state of the art and you're old technology, or I'm gay. Either way, go away.
Go away. Well, and he's the dude who gets killed on the butterfly machine doing this thing.
Which I'm not sure how you get killed on that. They can make it 1,000 pounds and your arms just go back. Is he just because he can't stop trying to do one more set? And then his ribs fall out?
Right, 100%. Well, you're not chained to it, right?
This is not.
You could slip your
Move
hands
your
out.
effing arm. They don't chain you to it. They don't duct tape you to it. And quite frankly, you put your arms around it to start with. Just let them slide back.
100%.
Put your arms down.
So the thing about this place is it's high tech. So the computers run all the workout machines, right? So you slide a card, that's pretty high tech, and it immediately knows what settings you need, what weights.
I mean, that sounds awesome.
It does, but I guess this is where it gets confusing. So the twin brother of the woman who burned herself before the movie even began, he is the computer guy who runs all the computers that control all the workout machines, right?
Right.
So I'm trying to get a handle on this. So he gets possessed.
He's feeling angry that he feels like he's gotten over his sister a little fast.
Okay. And therefore, is it a Norman Bates situation? Because he's clearly possessed as well, though.
Well,
right?
I don't think it's a Norman Bates. Because she's literally
right.
It's a real possession.
Right. 100%.
So we don't know. Well, we do know. When it's her, it looks like her.
Yes. And there's no mystery. Right.
But how did she possess the computer? Is my old, Mac Airbook gonna start creeping around trying to kill me? What should I be aware of these things?
Well, okay, so let's start from the beginning. We got what's her name? Karen? What's her name?
She's doing Karens.
100%. She is doing an extended flash dance routine by herself.
What a feeling!
Seeing's believing. And she's done with her thing and immediately goes to the spot. It's after hours. Everybody else has gone home. She's still, I'm going to do
when
my
I'm
own.
hot and sweaty, nothing more that I want is to sit in a boiling hot spa in an empty gymnasium by myself.
Oh, 100%. Well, and that's the other thing. It's like, I am going to be bone naked. I'm not just a towel. Okay, let me say this. They have saunas and gyms today, and I avoided them like the plague back in the day. There was no way I was going in the gym, into the sauna, and there's a bunch of naked dudes sitting in there. You don't know
what you're in for.
You're rolling the dice.
You're already watching people change. So I've been in mixed groups.
Are they bone naked?
I have been with bone naked people.
And do they lay down on their back, stretch out?
No, because other people want to sit there, but I have sat next to naked people. I've been the naked person sitting next to a naked person. So it's with all our sisters and our mom, and everybody was naked except for Megan, including all the other people there.
No.
You sit down, towel comes off.
No way.
Boom!
Not doing that.
Dude, I'm going to Japan. Naked.
Not doing it.
It's a whole thing. I have to go to a special place because I have a tattoo. I have 2 tattoos.
Yeah.
And you cannot go to the onsen with tattoos. You know why they do that?
Why?
For the
Yakuza?
Yakuza.
Did you say the Yakuza?
I got stuck.
I've heard it both ways. So there you go.
So the idea is they can't just say, if you're organized crime, you can't come. So the answer is no tattoos.
Interesting. So while she is bone naked in the spa, suddenly the spa cranks up, and they later say,
"So you won't be naked with a bunch of other dudes?"
No, hell no. Yeah. Yes, definitely the hot tub. Hot tub, naked strange men. I'm in. Where do I sign up? 100%.
Dude, I was at Harrah's last year, and I was getting a massage, and I was the last appointment of the day. So I was just walking around naked and sat in the jacuzzi.
Jesus Christ. No thanks. I'm out. Needless said, I go to the gym much these days. Anywho.
Now, my actual gym versus a health spa, everybody's dressed.
Well, and
when you go to the fancy spas, You don't know what you're in store.
You're walking into the lobby, bone naked, just letting it all hang out, literally.
It's people have robes, but you know they naked.
Well, that's different, of course.
Dude,
of course.
I got a pedicure, and I'm like, do you have like a towel I can put on my lap? She's like, yes, thank you for asking. She's like, a lot of people don't, and I see way too much.
I would, if I was her, I'd be throwing towels at people when they walk in the door.
Cover that shit up.
You either cover yourself or I'm covering my eyes. Those are your two choices. Sweet Jesus. Anywho, later it's so she's like, I guess, is being horribly burned by the sauna. She has to smash through the window. But later they say it was like chlorine gas was pumped in there. How did that happen?
Why you need chlorine? First of all, why you need chlorine gas? And saunas don't have locks. This is not a sauna. It's like a steam room. There's no locks. This isn't like an I Love Lucy episode where Lucy gets frozen in the walk-in freezer.
Right. 100%. And that lets you know. And you think that's the end of her. They keep bringing her back. She's like, I've suffered 3rd-degree burns over my entire body and I'm blind. But she's back. We see a lot of her staggering around.
Quite frankly, the chlorine bleach, which she should be hacking up what's left of her lungs, because later on, people genuinely melt. Of course, they don't try to get away from
We're going to talk about
spraying chlorine.
That was
they
so
just
ridiculous.
lay there going, help me. I'm like,
yes. So let's jump to that.
That
scene was goddamn ridiculous. Later in the movie, this, oh my God, this guy's like, the manager of the club is flirting with 2 chicks. One of them is the sister from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And he's like, hey, I'm sorry that you were attacked by the haunted bathroom. How about I give you 3 months off your membership? Yeah. He's like, just come by my office. Yeah, and they're like,
a special massage.
100%. They're like, can you handle both of us? So they're like, we're going to go have a threesome later. Come on down. Sounds good. Keep in mind, this is the guy whose girlfriend is now a blind burn victim, staggering around that he's leaving behind.
Haunted by his dead wife. This is why she's pissed.
Maybe the dead wife had a point, is what we're starting to realize.
Maybe she's actually saving these people.
100%.
Fate worse than death.
So later in the movie, one of those girls gets a mysterious message saying, hey, it's me, Michael, the manager of the health spa. Meet me down in the boiler room? Like in the iron foundry? Where the hell?
Let's do it down by the trash and the boiler. A little in and out.
100%.
Very nice.
Freddy Krueger doesn't even have a better
giant like sheet of lined paper out of your spiral bound notebook. 100%. And the note takes up the entire thing because he's riding like a caveman. Meet me at 9 o'clock by boiler. Boinky, boinky.
Boinky, boinky. So she goes down there and, of course, gets lost down there. And this is all a trap set by the ghost of the dead wife. And at one point, the sprinkler system goes off, like the fire. And I guess we're supposed to believe...
Great fire suppression system. Every corner of the spa is covered by it.
Right. And is it acid? Is it boiling? Because there's a scene where the girl's like, it's hot, my eyes, and then just lays on the ground and proceeds to melt slowly. Like 20 minutes later, the paranormal investigator, because yes, there's a paranormal investigator in this movie, shows up, finds the body, and I was watching this with subtitles, and it literally said, whimpering. Are you kidding me? You're a goddamn skeleton. There's an old meaty skeleton on the ground twitching.
It was like The Thing from John Carpenter. It was like, I'm like, no. I see your spinal cord. You're not making any goddamn sound.
Your heart is on the outside of your body beating. And they show this. You are long dead. Needless to say, that guy discovers the body. He's not like, let me get an ambulance, because what's the point? What's the point at this? Oh, God help us all. This movie is chock full of just ridiculousness.
Yes.
Like, okay.
And lots of nudity.
100%. There's a long scene of women in the shower washing themselves off, close-ups on just boobs. Close-ups on boobs. And they're like having conversations like, Ooh,
Hey, Sally, dude, let me lather myself up some more.
100%.
We're not having conversations. We're
They
not having conversations.
turning to look at each other, full face, eye contact. I'm not doing that. I'm out of. I'm not even showering there. I'm taking my dirty stuff and I'm going home. Am I a prude? Maybe that's what it is. Like I have hangups. I'm not getting naked in front of a bunch of dudes, and I'm not gonna be like, "Let's have
care. You rinse off or whatever."
You're not in there lathering for 20 minutes, having full blown conversations.
Well, a lot of the time, it's not like high school where we're all sitting there with Carrie White burning in hell, and they're all. That. I mean, I have been to the public pools. I have been to the gym. I've been to the racket club. They have like a curtain, and you take a shower.
Not doing that. Curtain open, like the Phantom of the Opera. Just get right
through the tennis club.
100%. That's part of the deal. That's half the fun.
It's part of the contract if you want to join.
Pretty much. So
at one point, the colored tiles of the shower come flying off like ninja stars.
Yes. And then later, like Michael's like, what the hell? The tiles are flying off and cutting people. And the evil twin brother who operates the computer rightfully says, what the hell are you talking about? The computer does not control the bathroom tiles.
100%.
100%.
Nor does the computer put chlorine into the sprinklers. Nor do most steam rooms have fire suppression.
Typically not.
Typically not. The pool too, in case the pool catches fire.
Who's to say? Better safe than sorry, right?
You need a fire marshal.
Fire Marshal Bill. No. This shit is and there's a bizarre subplot, which is it's almost a blink and you'll miss it kind of subplot, where it's his attorney and the manager of the club are conspiring against him. Like they're also trying to sabotage the club.
Right.
So that he gets kicked off.
He gets shoved out because this is a corporation. Is that it?
Something.
They're trying to. They have a board of directors for the spa.
Right. It makes absolutely no sense.
Fortune 500 company? Is this Berkshire Hathaway property?
This is it. This is Facebook. This is Meta. No, it's so bizarre. I don't know if that's supposed to be like, oh, it really wasn't the ghost of the wife all along. It was really the turncoat lawyer. But we've already seen supernatural shit going down.
So exactly what did they do? He left his watch there, and what was it that he did?
Yes. So there's a scene, and this is the first.
Did they do the chlorine, and the ghost did everything else?
It seems as though the ghost did everything, except there's a scene where the lawyer and his girlfriend are opening up the switchboard or whatever it is. And they're like, he's like, like tying wires together and snipping. He's ooh, getting shocked. He's like, when they do the annual Mardi Gras festival at the gym, as they are prone to do, it's going to be really hot. We're going to turn off the air conditioning.
Right. That was his plan. Gets a bad reputation. Everyone leaves. So now you're going to take over a failed business that no one's going to want to go to. That sounds like a plan, Stan.
100%. 100%. And he while he's doing that, he takes off his watch for no reason and leaves it behind. And the alarm goes,
like, dude, that's a swatch.
It was absolutely a swatch. The only reason the dude finds it, Michael, the manager, finds it, is because the alarm goes off on the watch. He's like, what is this here? And he immediately goes, if there's a watch here, clearly that means there's been sabotage.
Yeah, that's what happens.
So there you go.
Oh my God. Yeah, that was a red herring.
Well, and there was absolutely red herring. And then later, the lawyer is talking to the girl saying like, well, we can still steal the files and that will do something. You're a prick.
Steal the files?
It makes absolutely no sense.
Is this like Glengarry Glen Ross? They're going to start calling on.
It's Jack Lemmon.
It's Jack.
It is.
Sold the leads.
Absolutely. So,
yeah.
and multiple people. So a woman gets killed in the locker room because like a spike shoots out of a locker room and just hits her right in the throat. And no one ever discovers her body, by the way. No one asks about her.
She's still in that locker, but I don't understand. Later on, we see her stuffed in a locker and her eye fell out. How'd that happen?
Shit happens. What can I tell you?
She had her eyes earlier on.
Yes, she did. She did. Now, there are multiple scenes where it's like the blind woman is like being led around by her boyfriend, the manager of the club.
And then
he just leaves her multiple times.
Why did he even bring her? He brought her to the gym late at night, left her by a locker while he went upstairs to go do some work on the computer. Why is she in the locker room?
Just staggering around.
Fumbling, yeah.
Like no cane, no dog to help her, and her horrible boyfriend literally is like, "I'll be back later. Just feel free to wander around this place." There's like sharp edges. There's weights to slam into.
There are some zombie moments that could happen. What's left of her eye could be on a stick right now.
100%. That happens. That happens multiple times.
Quite frankly, I thought it was only one eye that was jacked up, so I was like, why is she walking around like she's blind? It wasn't until later that I saw she has like 2 Band-Aids.
She has 2 pieces of gauze over her eyes. But then by the time of the annual Mardi Gras festival, she seemingly is okay. She's wearing like sunglasses like she's Ray Charles or somebody, but she can still seemingly see, right?
So the acid dissolved her eyeballs, but had no effect on her face.
It wasn't acid, it was chlorine gas.
Okay, so, they would be coughing if they were still alive.
Chlorine gas is poisonous. She'd be dead.
Yes.
I don't give a damn what happens to her eyes. She's dead meat.
My eyes.
My eyes, damn it.
It was like they're in the trenches at WW1.
It was 100% like that.
It was mustard gas.
Can we talk about the scene? Because during the Mardi Gras festival, which takes up like the last 30 minutes of the movie.
And I don't see actually any Mardi Gras decorations whatsoever. It's just a random costume ball.
It was a costume ball. Well, they had posters up, and it was telling people about the Mardi Gras, and it was literally like a naked woman dancing with a clown. I don't know what that has to do with Mardi Gras, typically. But multiple deaths
It was
occur.
Elvira dancing with the clown from it. But
It was Pennywise. Multiple people die seemingly within earshot or vision of people and they don't notice. There's like, my head just exploded. No one noticed. Oh, my arm.
Everybody was, once again, everybody was coked out and they weren't paying any attention.
Oh, 100%.
The beat was on.
Turn the beat around.
It was 89. They were not turning the beat around. But the music was terrible. They didn't bother to license anything. This was some shitty fake music.
Yeah. It's
very popular in the 80s.
It was some fake ass shit.
Good. Could we get something shittier? How about a oiled man and a saxophone? How about that?
Is that too much to ask for God's sakes? Now, there was a scene where they go to the smoothie bar, and the woman, and this happened once earlier in the movie, where the woman like literally sticks her whole hand into the blender. And it's like, oh, fooled you. It was a tomato. And then, of course, later.
We call that foreshadowing.
It was Chekhov's blender. Right. If you introduce a blender in the Act 1, in Act 3, someone's got to put their hand in it. But
apparently, if your hand goes in a blender, you die from that.
Yes, 100%. Well, the police officer was there desperately trying to pull it off. And again, subtitles, a lot of like, oh, help! Can somebody help?
No cord
whatsoever. Cord. It's haunted. That's the issue.
It is haunted.
It is
Same
haunted.
thing with the computer at the gym.
Yes.
A multi-million-dollar computer that had no plug.
Yes.
Shut
100%.
the biz down.
Shut it down.
Pour a Coke on it.
Pour a Coke on it. So she's dead now. Just dead. I lost my hand. And then the freezer opens up like the scene from Poltergeist and pulls the police officer, who's again, help, as like bottles of champagne are opening and like pill bottles are raining down on him.
And should we comment on why there's a walk-in freezer in the health spa?
Because they sell smoothies. So you gotta have...
It's a lot of smoothies. It was the size of the freezer from The Shining.
Well, and then he's attacked by a 8-foot-long paper mache fish, some kind of an eel, perhaps, flies through the air.
That's for the smoothies.
Well, they were making sushi there as well, I guess.
Well,
is that what this
chick making smoothies? There wasn't even any fruit. It looked like she was making salsa or gazpacho. So maybe the secret ingredient is barracuda.
It's barracuda. So that dude gets killed. That scene is worth the price of admission, where the crazy barracuda comes at him.
It's literally a stick. It's like one of those dinosaur grabber things where you pull the little trigger at the end.
100%.
That's what it was.
100%. That was ridiculous.
I can pinch the children in my class under their arms. Well, no one will notice.
No one will see the evidence of your crimes. Another woman goes in the bathroom and the mirror shakes and her head explodes. That was the end of her. Very sad.
That's what happens.
That's what happens.
That's just science.
The lawyer is flirting with another random chick, and she's like, "Woo, it sure is hot here." He's like, "You think this is hot? Why don't we go to the to the sex sauna?" As one does.
Sounds terrible.
And then he's promptly killed by. We don't even see what happens. It's just like his head turns to mush. There are problems with editing.
Maybe this is all a metaphor for AIDS. Do you think that's what it is?
No.
You have sex and you die? Is that what this is?
I don't think that's the message at all.
You don't think it was dark?
There's no subtext. No.
It's just a porn without sex. Is that it?
Well, and the editing of the way they edited this movie, and I don't really care about editing typically, but this movie was often confusedly edited. So you're just like, why are they here? Why is this scene taking place right here? What happened to the people we just left? Why is he walking? There's a scene where you see the cops pull up and then you see Michael pull up and you're like, are they after Michael? No, they're just with him because he's going to the brother-in-law's house. And then he proceeds to break into the brother-in-law's house with the cops. They knock on the door. No one answers. And he turns to the cops. I'm just going to break in. And they go, okay.
Hey, we can't stop you.
Cool. They just turn their back. Do what you got to do. So
it's alive too. After he's kidnapped all these people, he's like, I ain't done nothing wrong. You can't hold me.
That's 100% what's going on here. There's a final moment which made me laugh and laugh and laugh. So they were trying to get. It's now Michael, who runs the health club, Karen, who's recently been rescued from a killer tanning bed earlier in the movie, and then Rosalind Cash, the police officer. They bust in to the computer area, and already the brother-in-law possessed by the sister is like a burnt, crispy critter in the corner.
Well, she is flashing back and forth.
Yes. A burnt crispy.
It's her, it's him.
Right. But now it's just a burnt corpse. So like, oh damn, he's dead. He reaches out, grabs Karen, okay, the blind woman, and the arm just rips off out of the socket like a mannequin.
This is the best part of the
This is the best. And the police officer pulls her gun and just goes, blah, blah, blah. Just shoots it
and loads the entire clip into the paper mache monster.
It was brilliant. And then the last scene, as credits are about to roll, they're like, oh, we've escaped. Smash cut to back into the burnt room. There is like the burned face, and you hear like a disembodied voice go, you think this is over, Michael? Guess again. And then his eye just pops. Squirts out like a zit out the screen, and then the credits roll.
But then I believe that was the only thing keeping it alive, because it didn't go limp after its eye
yes,
pop.
Eye pop! And then slump over.
It was Dr. Pimple Popper, 150%.
Needless to say, there was not a death spot, too. So I don't know what's happening.
Because they saved their money, went right on over to death toilet. I can't even imagine what nonsense is going on there. I did have one
Please.
thing. At one point, one of the girls, I don't even know who it is anymore, even though I just watched this yesterday.
Yep.
One of the girls is looking for Michael, and she literally goes to a supply cabinet. Not one where you walk in, but one with literal shelves. So
Yes.
would Michael be behind the can of Raid?
Yes.
Or seems an odd place to look for him.
Yes. But like we said, everybody's after Michael. Everybody, every chick who works there, who frequents the place, who's there for Mardi Gras. And it seems like, I realize now, it seems like the evil ghost, Catherine, I think was the evil ghost's name, wins. Because she burns down the health spa. Countless thousands of people are killed in the flames. At one point, they show a body laying there with its tongue sticking out, and people just stepping on it. Step over it.
Yes.
That was
ridiculous.
That was a moment. So she wins. Now, granted, Michael lives, but his source of livelihood, his house in the hills, he's going to have to sell that just to live, I guess, at this stage.
Dude, I think this is just a gay bathhouse. I think that's what this is. Because literally, nobody was working out. There were saunas. There were people getting naked. They were clubbing there. I
100%.
mean, I belong to a gym that costs a few dollars. Where's my masked ball where we're just getting drunk and dancing around the equipment? I mean, I know it's not the 80s, you know. Reagan is not in power, but come on, kids.
Did you think this was kind of an eyes wide shut kind of situation, like Fidelio?
If only.
There was a scene, I keep remembering more scenes. So later in the movie, when he's trying to short circuit,
they call that trauma. You've repressed your memory.
It is some flashbacks. Michael's trying to short out the computer, and he pulls two wires out of the wall, duct tapes them to his shoe for some reason, and then proceeds to electrocute himself. Ah! And meanwhile, and I guess it works, because the ghost woman is just like, burning up. Meanwhile, it wasn't like all the doors open and everyone escapes. People are still burning to death. So I don't know what the plan was. The shit is nonsense.
The shit is nonsense. The place, everybody's burning to death while the police are there.
Yes.
They're not shutting down this place after multiple deaths.
Yeah. Yes. No one's calling for backup. There's never a scene where like they're on the phone. The phones are dead. There's not even that moment. You know what I mean?
I'm going back to my statement. This is all about the spread of AIDS. That's the thing.
Could be
the hidden agenda.
Any last thoughts about Death Spa before we go behind the scenes?
Not a goddamn one.
Let's take a look behind the scenes, shall we? We mentioned this briefly. The extras in the shower scene were obtained from a porn casting agency.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, makes sense. The film had to be extensively cut in order to avoid an X rating from the MPAA.
And if you're already at that, you might as well just go ahead and make it a porn.
It
should have been 2 cuts.
There should have been 2 cuts, no question. Let's see. We talked about this as well. This was Merrick Butrick's final film before his death on March 17th, 1989, at the age of 29.
I know, so young.
Boom.
He died of AIDS.
I believe that's correct.
Yeah, I looked him up. I'm like, what do you mean this is his final film? He was like a little tiny baby.
Yes.
That
actually, I mean, as you might imagine, that happened quite a bit at that time. There were actors who were in a few things and then they were dead by late 80s, early 90s because of AIDS.
Dude, people don't know. People don't remember 9/11. Yeah. Younger people don't remember. People were everybody was dying. Everybody had AIDS. Everybody was dying. It's terrifying.
An earlier draft of the script had a red herring janitor character living in the basement of the health spa.
Named Freddy Krueger?
Let's see. Film debut of Karen Parsons, who was the sister from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So there you go.
Okay.
The exterior shot of Starbody's health spa that opens the film was shot at a strip mall in the South 8100 block of Sunset Boulevard.
I thought you were going to say strip club.
Strip. Let's talk about the cast and crew, shall we? This movie was directed by Michael Fisher. I'm sure I'm butchering his name. You know him from such things as Rice Girl in 2014. I don't know what that is. Dead Time Stories, Volume 1, 2009.
I think he has a type.
Mascara Diablo in 2005. Does that mean something? I don't know. I think that's about it. Let's look at the cast here. William Bummiller played Michael Evans, which was the main character. You know him from Species. He was the club bouncer. He was in 2 minutes of that movie. Remember, they go like, she wouldn't have gone home with it. She wouldn't have gone home with somebody who was a total asshole. There was that moment. He was the bouncer of that club. So that's his scene. He was also, he was in Boat Trip in 2002. He was in Do or Die in 1991.
I think you're just making sounds now.
He was in 3 episodes of 24 in 2007.
I never saw 24.
24 was good stuff initially.
That's how it always is.
That's how it always is. Brenda Backey played Laura. No, I kept calling her Karen. Laura was the blind woman.
Think of Laura, laugh, don't cry.
She was in quite a few things that I saw about this time. In 1997, she played Lana Turner in LA Confidential.
All right. That was a real movie.
That was a real movie. In 1993, she was in Hot Shots Part 2. She was Cordelia in 1995's Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight. Boom. And of course, she was in 1995 Under Siege 2 Dark Territory, the Steven Seagal horrible sequel.
I didn't see Under Siege 1.
Under Siege 1 was actually quite good. Merrick Butrick played David Avery. I always love when they have a last name that's never mentioned in the movie. He was David in Star Trek II Wrath of Khan. He was David in Star Trek III Search for Spock.
Does he get killed in that? Or is he jettisoned off with Spock?
Eventually they do. His character is dead. They refer to him being dead because the actor was dead.
So you think if he was still alive, he might have continued on?
He might have continued on.
Oh.
He was in 1 episode of Star Trek The Next Generation playing T'Jon in 1998. And he was in something called The Head Office in 1985. They don't even mention Square Pegs. What are we doing? He was Johnny Slash in Square Pegs, for God's sakes.
It was great. He had a little rat tail. He was so cool.
Absolutely. Let's see. Ken Foree played Marvin. We didn't even mention him. Ken Foree, you know him from... He was in Halloween playing Big Joe Grizzly in 2007. So this is the Rob Zombie. He was Peter in Dawn of the Dead, 1978.
Did people have names in Dawn of the Dead?
You don't remember Dawn of the Dead when they're in the mall?
I don't remember people having names.
Oh, Jesus. He was Bubba Brownlee in From Beyond in 1986.
From Beyond.
And he was Herman Jackson in 2012's Lords of Salem. That's another Rob Zombie debacle. Let's see. Rosalind Cash played Sergeant Stone.
She has been in 1,000 things.
She was Lisa in The Omega Man.
Yup.
Yep. She was John Emdahl in The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai. She was Sarah Jackson in 1974's Uptown Saturday Night.
She was legit.
And she was Pat in Clute.
I think she has an Emmy.
She might be. She's a real actress. No question.
Yeah. She's the real McCoy.
Chelsea Field played Darla. She was the one who was trying to hit on everybody, just walking from person to person. You know her from Masters of the Universe in 1987. That's that He-Man movie with Dolph Lundgren.
Oh, I'm familiar with what Masters of the Universe is, but you're crazy to think I actually saw that.
She was in
Was
Commando.
she She-Ra?
She was Tila. Tila in 1987. She was in 1985. She was in Commando as Vicky, the Western flight attendant. She was Virginia Slim in 1991's Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man.
Oh no.
She was in The Last Boy Scout in 1991. Currently, she's married to Scott Bakula. Boom.
What?
Yeah, isn't that something?
That's awesome.
I've seen her in a ton of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Joseph Whipp played Dr. Lido Moray. He was the paranormal investigator. You know him from, he was Sergeant Parker in A Nightmare on Elm Street in 1984. He was Sheriff Burke in Scream in 1996. He was a guard in Escape from Alcatraz. And he was Harry in 1997 Suicide Kings. And he, I think I told you this, my buddy Stephen Gurgley, his mom was, Connie Gurgley was married to him. Joseph Whipp. Boom.
I saw that name in there.
There you go. Interesting.
Did you call your friend up?
He's the one who told me way back when. He's like, hey, heads up.
Death Spa, brother.
Well, he didn't mention Death Spa specifically, but Tanae McClure played Vicky. She was another kind of a blonde, chesty chick. She's the one who dies in the flaming spa at the end of it.
Ridiculous.
You know her from such things. She was Elle's mother in Legally Blonde in 2001. So that's a real movie.
Yeah.
She was Bunny in 2000's Cruel Intentions 2, which is straight to video. She did a lot of erotic thrillers in the 90s.
Red Shoe Diaries.
She was in Trance in 2002, Seance Games in 2024. I noticed her. Her name is Tanae McClure. Her father is Doug McClure, who you might remember from The Land That Time Forgot, At Its Core, etc., etc., etc.
I'm Doug McClure. You may remember me from such classics as...
That was Troy McClure, but either way.
We know what. We know.
Vanessa Bell Calloway played Marcy Hewitt. She was the one who is killed in the locker room with a spike through her neck.
Ouch.
She was in Coming to America playing Amani Aziz. She was Jackie in What's Love Got to Do with It in 1993. She was in Daylight. That was a Stallone movie in 1996. Lakeview Terrace in 2008. She's had a real career. Yeah.
She had a real career after this.
Absolutely. And we talked about it ever so briefly. She's not even shown here. But Karen Parsons, I'm going to bring her up because she played the sister on now it just jumped out of my brain. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. You know her from Major Payne, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, 146 episodes as Hillary Banks. She was in The Lush Life, 7 episodes in 1996. Gulliver's Travels, the TV miniseries, 1996, 1 episode. Very sad. So there you go. Good times. I think that's everybody we want to talk about from the cast.
I want to talk about one thing I remembered from the movie.
Please.
At one point, the ghost is trying to cook a girl in the tanning bed, and you see her skin blistering.
Yes.
But later on, she just simply has a very orange Donald Trump tan. Otherwise, none the worse for wear.
No, she's fine after that. Her lips get a little chapped.
She already had a deep base.
That's right. 100%. 100%. Let's look at the ratings, shall we?
Let's do it.
You're going to be shocked and horrified when I tell you there are no critic ratings for this movie.
Are you sure this was a real movie?
Not just no top critics. There are no critics, period, for this movie.
Fangoria.
Nobody.
Rob Zombie didn't write a review.
I can tell you the audience score. What do you think the audience score was?
35.
36.
Ah, ding, 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 ding.
I could read audience scores, but
What's the point?
I can't give it too high of points because of how goddamn ridiculous it is. But I mean, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't having fun with it. It's the perfect schlocky movie to have on at a party with a few beers. There you go. Can't say I disagree. What is your
My
rating?
wife gets angry when I show porn at our parties, so I just put this on instead.
It's a loophole. It's a loophole. No question. What is your rating on Death
Oh my
Spa?
God. I mean, it's a perfect movie for us to make fun of.
Yes.
I sure as hell am never watching this again. I'm going to give this, let's see that, 1.75 injections of ammonia chloride up my ass out of 5.
That does not happen in this movie, by the way. No, I mean,
if it's bleach, shouldn't her clothes change colors? I mean, I had a friend who never changed her water in her swimming pool, and I had a son get into the pool with a navy blue shirt, and at the end of the day, crawled out with a light blue shirt.
it's chlorine gas.
The one
Okay.
wasn't raining.
I didn't write the movie, for God's sakes. Sweet Jesus. No, I mean, here's what I will say. There are moments that are so goddamn ridiculous that you can't help but laugh.
Just go to the end.
But
Watch
that's-
the squirting eye.
That's the question. Is the rest of the movie good enough to put up with while you're waiting for these goddamn moments? And I'm not quite sure it is.
I'm not quite sure. Maybe if you're younger than us, it's about 3 a.m. and you just need to throw on something as you slowly pass out because it is half porn, so you might enjoy it then.
There actually is no sex in this movie at all.
No, it's just 80s boobies.
80s
everywhere.
boobies. 80s boobies.
I
all
did
over
see
the
some
place.
pubic hair.
Did you?
I did.
Maybe I need to go back and watch it again just to confirm or deny. No, it's mostly kind of boring and it's nonsensical. And like I said, it's not very well made either. But the ridiculous moments are freaking hilarious.
The
But
whole thing is ridiculous. It's all kind of slapped together. I mean, you're
It
like,
is.
why do you just keep leaving your blind girlfriend in random spots?
leaving her home alone to stagger. That place is a death trap, by the way. His apartment, there's like landings with no
Dude,
no railing
and,
or
like,
anything.
put their dining table on like a cliff. There's
Yes.
one side where if someone scoots back their chair 3 inches, they're going over the side.
100%.
No railing.
Yes. Laura would have been dead just from that alone, frankly. No question. So
Were they even living together? I mean, I'm
no,
not sure.
they weren't. He brought her home because she was blind.
I mean, my house is tiny and one level, so I'm pretty sure I can find my way to the toilet. But once I get into the living room, I'm going to break a hip. I'm going to trip over things. I'm going to step on a cat. I will break my neck, and they will feed on me.
Well, it's that thing that they did in the 80s where it's like multi-level on the same floor. So you'd kind of step down into like the TV living room area.
Right.
You're like, what is happening? I give it 2 out of 5. 2 out of 5. I think
Oh my God, that's almost a 3. It's almost. You're saying it's almost average.
those parts are the ridiculous parts are hilarious, but the rest of the shit is boring and stupid. It makes no sense. So that's
It'd
my
be something you're having a conversation with someone, and then you look up at it every so often.
correct. 100%.
So yeah, maybe playing it in the background at a party would be the thing to do.
100%. While you're all on meth. Might as well. Might as well. Any last thoughts on Death Spa?
I am not watching Death Toilet. Let's just put
That's
that
next week. Get ready.
down.
So thank you very
Death
much.
Toilet 2. That's the one.
That's the one. That's the good one I've heard. So go to our pages across social media. We are on X, Blue Sky, Threads, Instagram, TikTok. You may be watching us on YouTube right now, for goodness
Maybe.
sake. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere the finer podcasts are available. So don't forget to like, share, rate, and review, won't you?
Won't you please?
You can also email us the podcast that wouldn't die at Gmail. Aaron, what is your social media situation?
I think I'm on Artsy and First Dibs, Aaron Doherty, and I am the Cult of Aaron on Instagram. Join the cult.
Join the cult. As you know, we like to include comments, questions from our friends across the social media landscape. Aaron, you got something?
I gotta tell you, I don't know what's happening because we reviewed John Carter 1,000 years ago and nobody listened to it. Now I put it, I put our what the F moment on TikTok. Suddenly it's like becoming our second most popular thing. I'm like, I don't even know what's happening.
It's viral.
So someone made a comment about John Carter. It was Merlin Leach. Great movie. Read the books as a kid after the Tarzan books.
Okay. Thank you,
Shocking.
Merlin Leach.
All right.
Is that his given name?
Maybe it's Robin Leach's son.
Merlin?
We don't know what's happening on the Ticker Talker.
Nobody knows the trouble I see. Next week, we are discussing the horror classic, The Abominable Dr. Phibes!
Whoop, whoop.
Starring Vincent Price. I think Carolyn Monroe is in this bad boy. If I'm
Is
not
that Marilyn Monroe's sister?
No. Damn it all to hell. Now, if you want to watch The Abominable
The
Abominable Dr. Phibes, a good thing is you can just go on YouTube and watch it for damn free. Because somebody ripped it and put it on there. Because it's not available literally anywhere else. Anywhere
How can
else.
that's not even a thing. There should be just a Vincent Price channel.
100%. 100%. You can watch, what is Dr. Phibes Strikes Back or Dr. Phibes Rides Again or whatever the hell.
Wrath of Phibes.
The Wrath of Phibes.
In Search of Phibes.
It's still a Phibes. Right. It's all available to you. But if you want to watch the original, you got to go watch it just crazy on YouTube. So check that out. Send in any favorite scenes, favorite quotes, comments, and questions, and we may just talk about it on the show. So thank you very much, and be well.
Stay cool, kids.